What's going on, everyone? Today is going amazing. We have some new news that's just crazy. I mean, shout out to all the Daca recipients, everyone that wants to get Daca. I mean, this is huge. I'm like nervous right now because how huge this is. So I normally don't do IG lives. I don't know why. I just like recording the video because I can do many takes on it. But we're here. We're doing it for you. I've gotten so many questions about Daca. It's ridiculous. I can't even keep up with my phone right now. But I'm going to try to answer as many questions as I can in this live right now. So what I did was I took the most common and the best questions that I could find out of like the 100 that I got. And I'm going to go ahead and answer some of those in this live. Now, what I want to do first is go over Daca a little bit so you understand what the requirements are to see if you even qualify. So, first off, shout out to IJ, Immigration Judge Nicholas Garofis in the District Court of Brooklyn. Wow, your decision was huge. We love you for it. Thank you. So, what did he decide? He decided that Chad Wolf was unlawfully appointed to USCIS. And who is Chad Wolf? Chad Wolf is the guy that restricted all new Daca applications. He drastically reduced it from a 2-year permit to a 1-year permit. Like, this guy is ridiculous. But thank God he was unlawfully appointed. The IJ saw that, reversed the whole thing. So now they are accepting new applications supposedly on Monday. I guess we're going to see based on what USCIS posts on their website. But let me go through what the requirements are. I have them written down here. Why? Because it's been a long time since new Daca applicants were able to file applications. And I don't really get that many I don't really get that many Daca besides renewals. And renewals are just like, boom, put the info. We already know you qualify outside of certain crimes and just send it through. But new applications, completely different. So I'm going to go through the requirements and you sit down and tell yourself if you qualify or if you don't. If you do or if you don't, DM me. I can always go over it with you in more detail. So first off, you need to be born after June 15th, 1981 to qualify. If you are born on or before June 15th, 1981, then you do not qualify. In other words, you need to have been under 31 as of June 15th, 2012. You must also be 15 years or older to be able to apply for Daca. So if you're under 15, you don't qualify for Daca outside of certain circumstances where you're currently in removal proceedings in front of an immigration judge or you have a final order of removal or voluntary departure. Next is you had to have come to the United States before your 16th birthday. So if you got here when you were 17, you don't qualify. If you were here before 16, you got deported and all that stuff, came back at 19, you don't qualify. So keep that in mind. You had to have continuously resided in the United States since June 15, 2007 up until now. That's crazy. I mean, when it first came out in 2012, you only had a small amount of years that you needed to prove your presence in the United States. And now we're looking at, 13 and a half years? It's going to be hard to prove that. I would suggest having proof of at least every other month of every year for 13 years to be able to prove that you've been here. And there are many ways to go about it. Obviously, if you DM me, we can go over that. But I've seen crazy things and how people submit evidence and what they submit. I mean, you need to prove that you've been here for 13 years. So think about it. I mean, there are ways to prove it through Facebook Lives, gaming when you sign on to Twitch or whatever, your school records, bank accounts, transactions, all those things that prove that you are in the United States. All those things are good and many more. Just use your brain. The next one is you had to have been physically present in the United States on June 15, 2012. Why? Because that's when Daca came out. So that's an important day. June 15, 2012 is a very important day for Daca. If you had any type of lawful status on June 15, 2012, you don't qualify. So if you had a green card or you were on a student visa or any type of other status, if you had status, you don't qualify. So just make sure you check that out and think hard. Look at your paperwork. You need to be currently enrolled in school, have graduated with a certificate from high school or gotten a GED or something like that, or you were honorably discharged veteran from the Coast Guard or Armed Forces of the United States. So you could currently be enrolled in school, you could have a high school diploma, your GED, all those things qualify you for that certain requirement. And last but not least, crimes are huge, obviously, for any type of relief that you're filing with USCIS or the government. If you have any type of crime, it's most likely going to be a huge factor in this application. For instance, something like a DUI. You're not going to get DACA with a DUI. Domestic violence, like major chance. There's like no way. I mean, I've never seen a domestic violence case get approved for DACA. So domestic violence, no. But basically, you cannot have any felonies on your record, none whatsoever. And no significant misdemeanors or 3 or more misdemeanors. Significant misdemeanors are like domestic violence, DUI, stuff like that. Traffic tickets, not so much. And you also cannot pose a threat to national security. So if you've been in gangs or anything like that, or you're posting videos on social media like, yo, what up, blah, 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 and you're throwing up gang signs, or you're drinking alcohol or anything like that, it doesn't look good for you, and USCIS does look at those things. And hi to everyone that's waving to me. Sorry, I can't sit here and do all this. I'm like very slow with technology. So yeah, a DUI is not a felony, but it is a significant misdemeanor. So like I said, any type of felonies, IA Costa 87 _ ATL. Yeah, so basically a DUI is considered a significant misdemeanor. So we have no felonies, no significant misdemeanors, and you can't have 3 or more regular misdemeanors at all. So again, can't pose a national threat, no gang-related activity, don't throw up gang signs in your video. I know TikTok is huge right now, and you guys want to do all that stuff, blah, blah, blah. But just keep it to yourself. You're in a situation that's very unique, and you don't want to ruin your chances of getting any type of benefit in the future because you decided to do a video like on TikTok or IG or whatever it is. So those are the requirements, and I'm going to go ahead and go through. I have 12 questions here that were like very, very important questions that I think the majority of people have. Like I said, if you have any other questions that I did not cover in here, you're more than welcome to DM me. I'll put my phone number down, and I think my phone number is down in my profile, but you could always text my cell, and I'll go over it all with you. And everything that you tell me in that discussion is confidential. I am a lawyer. I am not some notario or paralegal or anything like that. I have a license. I went to school. I am here to help you, and everything is confidential. So the first question, and this one's a little obvious, but I think a lot of people still have this question. Is DACA open to new applicants? Well, DACA is currently it is open to new applicants because the judge ordered it. Is it up on USCIS's website yet? Not yet. They haven't come out with the guidelines with their memo on how they're going to be going forth with the new applications, but they are supposed to be accepting new applications. And it is up to us attorneys to go ahead and file those applications to set the precedent. We want to push USCIS and force their hand, not let them sit there and twiddle their thumbs and say, oh no, we're not doing this, judge blah 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 was wrong, and give Trump time to sit here and make different executive orders and come up with loopholes and all those things. So we want to push the envelope, force their hand, make them approve these cases. So yes, DACA is open to new applicants. Is it up on USCIS's website at the moment? No, but it should be by Monday because the judge gave them 3 days to go ahead and have that on their website. The next question, if you have a pending marriage case I-130, should I renew DACA? The I-130 is just proving that the family relationship. So you, husband, wife, prove that you guys are married through children, marriage certificate, stuff like that. So this person has a pending marriage case and they want to know if they should renew their DACA. Well, just because you have a pending marriage case doesn't mean that you are legally in the United States. It doesn't give you any protection. You are hoping to not get caught in the meantime, and if you do, you got to try to convince USCI or ICE that you have a pending I-130 and that it's a very solid I-130 adjustment of status application that's going to go through, and to hope that they don't put you in removal proceedings. So should you renew DACA? I would say, yeah. I mean, what do you have to lose? You have, I mean, what, $4.95 filing fee to lose? At the end of the day, to me, I'd rather have the protection and know that even if ICE picked me up or whatever it is, I can say, bam, here's my paperwork, let me go. And they need to let you go. And if they don't, call me, because I'll get them to let you go. So yeah, I would renew DACA just to be on the safe side, but each person's different. I can't force you to do what I think you should do, but at the end of the day, I think you should do it. So that's question number 2. What's up, Janet? I see you. Cindy, thank you for joining. And the Jared Glove, thank you. I am trying to be as formative as possible. So question number 3, for the ones who already got the 1-year permit, will they send a 2-year one? That's a very good question. I got this question a lot. That's why it's on here. So if you've already been approved for the 1-year permit, that's great. You already have DACA. Now, I highly doubt they are going to ask everyone for these DACA permits back so they can reprint and all that stuff. What's most likely going to happen is they will send you a letter in the mail saying that your DACA application is extended, or they'll post it on their website. Anyone who's been approved through this date to this date will be extended up until this date, and at that point you can renew again. So will they send a 2-year one? I doubt it. Will they take back your 1-year one? I doubt it as well. I'm thinking more of an update on their website or a letter in the mail letting you know when your date will end. So that's for the 2-year permit. Question number 4, are advanced paroles usually granted? Well, what is advanced parole? Advanced parole allows you to leave the United States for certain reasons. Advanced parole are not usually granted. It's very difficult to get an advanced parole granted, especially under the current administration. But with the new administration, I'm sure it's going to be brought back down to Obama's time, which it should be right now. So when the judge had reversed this whole thing, right now we're under Obama's terms. But like I said, we don't know what's going to happen with Trump and what he's going to do. But right now, it's back to Obama terms, and under Obama's terms, it was a little easier, but it wasn't like, oh my God, boom, here you go, here's your advanced parole, you can leave and come back. And just remember, advanced parole is discretionary. So advanced parole allows you to travel, but it's up to the discretion of the officer to allow you in, even if you haven't approved advanced parole. So I'll go over advanced parole in a little bit, but the next question is, can DACA people travel to Hawaii or Puerto Rico since it is part of the United States? Traveling on DACA, you have every right to travel within the United States with DACA. Are there risks? Are you going to run into situations where an officer might be excuse my language, an asshole, have a bad day, treat you like shit, and you're sitting there for hours being interrogated? Yes, this does happen. Even though you have a valid DACA permit, and even though you have all the paperwork and all that stuff, there are officers that just go on a power trip. They like to bully you. They try to do that to me, but I don't take it. I've had officers throw paperwork at me, and it's like, come on, dude, we're both humans. We're just trying to serve the public, and I don't understand why you have to throw papers at me just because I'm telling you this is the situation. But some officers are like that, and there are other officers that are really nice. So who you encounter on any certain day, I don't know. You just got to pray that it's a good person. And traveling, I always caution traveling. I always tell my clients, only go if you really need to. If it's not necessary, then I wouldn't really go. But that's just me. I always side on caution. So you can travel, but if you have advanced parole, anything like that, it's even better. But like I said, only travel when you need to. Don't sit there and travel just because you want to go on a vacation or anything like that. It's not worth it to me. So and remember, everything that I'm saying in this video, it's not legal advice. Don't take it to heart. This is just my opinion. You know what I'm saying? You can do whatever you want. Consult with a lawyer. Consult with me actually on the phone or in a DM so you can get a solid answer. This is just very generic. So don't take this and be like, oh, I relied on Brandon for this because he said this in a video. No, this is my personal opinion. each case is different, and if you have a question about your specific case, I will go over it with you. The next question is, if I get my DUI expunged, will I be able to apply for Daca? Okay, like I said before, DUIs are significant misdemeanors, and Daca does not get approved with a DUI. So even if you get your DUI expunged, that doesn't mean anything for the U.S. government. Every single time somebody comes up to me and says I had my case expunged, it doesn't matter. Your case being expunged might help you to get a job, but the U.S. government knows what was expunged. Having your case vacated is completely different. You need to have your case vacated in order to move forward. And what that means is your case is completely changed. An expungement just seals it and doesn't allow certain people to see it, but the U.S. government can still see it. Vacating the order is reopening the whole case and changing everything that happened in it, whether it's a decision or completely dismissing the case for a certain reason. Vacate, yes. Expungement, no. The next question is, what qualifies for advanced parole? And that's what I was talking about earlier that I would get to. So advanced parole, like I said, allows you to leave the country, but for what reasons? You can leave the country for educational reasons, for work reasons, or for humanitarian reasons, which is the most common. Education, you might get abroad study in, let's say, Italy, and you want to go there. If you prove to the government that you really got accepted for the study abroad program and you want to go and blah, 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 then you can get approved for that. Employment purposes, to go to a different country to work on a contract, or they really need it with their joint ventures or whatever it is. If you can prove to USCIS that you are the person for the job and that they want to send you, then you can get it that way. And last but not least, the most important and most used is humanitarian reasons. If you can prove that you have a very close family member to you and they're sick, or you haven't seen them in a long time, or it's something along the lines of that, having a family member you're really close to, you got to see them, medical reasons, haven't seen them in 20 years, whatever the case is. If you can provide sufficient evidence and you get a good officer on a good day, your advanced parole could be approved. So those are the three ways. The guy asked before, they usually granted, like I said, it's legit a 50-50 shot. Everything in immigration comes down to how good is your application, who's the officer, and is the officer having a bad day. So it's not a computer. You're not just, the answers and you're feeding it into a machine. No, these officers have feelings. They have emotions. They could be hardline Trump supporters and like, no, I don't care. I'm still under Trump's rule. Forget this judge, blah, blah, blah. Like, there are people like that. And like I said, they're not computers. They're humans. So just remember, you can file the best application and lose. And you can file the worst application and get a great officer and win. So it's hard to say are they usually granted or not, but just do your best. Always submit the best application possible. And like I said before, don't go through a notary. Notaries don't have licenses. This is going to affect the rest of your life. And if something gets denied or they see fraud or anything like that, which I see a lot, at least 70% of my clients come from notarios. So, and I got to fix the work. It's like trying to repair a tattoo that's been destroyed. You know what I'm saying? It's like there's only so much you can do with it. So why ruin your skin the first time when you can do it properly and get what you want initially? So don't waste your time with notarios. The next question is, do people get denied re-entry on advanced parole approvals? So let's say you file for advanced parole, you get approved, yay, things are going great, and you decide to leave the country and you want to come back. Will the ICE officer, CBP, at the border deny you entry? Great question. Usually, you are supposed to be able to come back in because you have an approved advanced parole. But like I said before, these officers go on power trips. Somebody might have a bad day and give you hell on that day. It is your job to provide as much documentation as possible to prove that you are here lawfully. Have your DACA permit, have your paperwork, have everything with you at any time, your advanced parole documents. Anytime you leave and anytime you come, and always have your lawyer's phone number on you just in case, and give it to somebody else as well, so just in case something happens to you, that person can call and come to your rescue. I've rescued a lot of people, trust me. So always have the phone number on you. When can we apply for this as new applicants? Like I said before, you can apply technically now, but USCIS hasn't posted on their website, so each person is going to have a different feeling on this and whether they want to move forward and possibly waste their money and blah, blah, blah. As attorneys, the judge came out with a decision. We should be pushing the envelope, like I said before. So if you want to apply, I'm here. I'm here to help you apply. We can apply. USCIS is supposed to be accepting these applications. How long do you have to have Daca for before you can apply for a green card? Well, the reason I included this question is not a very common question, but the reason I included this question is Daca to green card. People don't know that you cannot get a green card from Daca currently as it stands. There's never been a path to a green card or citizenship from Daca, so there's no way to get a green card from Daca. Why do you have Daca then? Daca grants you status to stay in the United States and work. If you ever get picked up by ICE, you're okay. You're protected. Why do you want to have that? Well, first of all, you're protected and you can work legally. That's great. But who knows? You might marry a U.S. citizen or a green card holder and things will change for you and you've been here lawfully the entire time or part of the time. So there are times where you're going through the adjustment of status process. You get caught by ICE. They put you in removal proceedings, and now you can't file a 601A waiver because you're in removal proceedings and the judge won't allow it. You have to do voluntary departure, go back to your country, do all this shenanigans. But if you're here on DACA and you're lawfully here with it, then ICE can't pick you up and throw you in removal proceedings, and you don't have to deal with all that. You can still file the 601A waiver if you need to and go that route and get your green card through your spouse. Yesenia, what if a DACA recipient marries a U.S. citizen? That's exactly what I'm talking about right now. Let's say you're on DACA, you marry a U.S. citizen. The U.S. citizen can petition for you, and throughout the whole time you can be on DACA, so you're protected. And then when you file your 601A waiver, all that stuff gets approved, and you just need to go do your interview. Everything's good. So you've been here lawfully the entire time. You're protected. That is a great question. Perfect timing for what I'm talking about right now. Question number 11. What are the required documents for first-time applicants? So I gave you the breakdown of all the requisite, what all of the requirements for DACA, right? There were 7 of them. And with each one of those requirements, there's going to be a bundle. And I mean, it's limitless on how much evidence you supply to USCIS. And I would strongly suggest that you contact me so we can go over your case particularly and go over what evidence that you have to be able to submit, because each person is different. Some people were in school at a certain time or worked at a certain time or did these things at a certain time, and they can prove, look, I was here because I have this, and this. Whereas somebody else might not have that stuff. Like I said, there are gamers that log in and it tracks all that stuff. There are people that don't game and they don't have that. So they have to find different avenues of evidence. So each requirement has its own set of evidence, and it's going to take way too long to go through every single one and what I think you should submit. But you can DM me, we can start the process, and I'll send you a list of documents that I think are necessary. And depending on what you are able to provide to me, we'll have to adjust and kind of figure out what other types of evidence you may be able to come up with to better your chances of getting DACA. Last question. If I applied for DACA before and got denied, will I get denied again if I reapply? Well, what was the reason that you got denied in the first place? Was it because you failed to submit sufficient evidence like we were just talking about? Or was it because you had a DUI and now you got it expunged? If you got the DUI and you got it expunged, like I said before, you're going to get denied again. If it was just based on insufficient evidence, like you didn't know what to submit, or at that time you didn't have access to those documents or whatever it was, or you missed the request for evidence deadline, yes, you can reapply and you will probably get approved if you submit all the documents and explain why you were denied the first time and why you couldn't come up with them. But if it's something like a DUI and you got it expunged and blah, 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 or domestic violence, then you're most likely going to get denied again. It's not like just because you got denied before and now things are changed that you're going to get approved. No. Reason why you were denied is crucial to that question. And like I said, DM me. I can go over your case in particular. So I'm getting a lot of messages down here. Let me sort through some of these and see if I can answer some questions that haven't already been answered. Thanks for doing what you do, brother. I appreciate it. I love what I do, helping immigrants. I mean, my parents were immigrants, grandparents, aunts, uncles. They're all immigrants. Some of them still have green cards. Some of them don't. So trying to help everyone I could. I love what I do. Every time I help someone, I think of my mom and dad and how I would feel if a notario or a lawyer screwed them over, and I would be pissed off. You know what I'm saying? So I take what I do very seriously. I love all my clients. It's not handshakes, it's hugs and how's the family doing. So I'm a little different than most lawyers. I love what I do, and I appreciate you recognizing that. Advanced parole, we already went through that. When can we file? Like I said, Monday should be the first day that USCIS puts this on their website. So we're hoping that it starts Monday. Let's see here. Can I renew with drug paraphernalia? I would not. Anything drug related in the United States is not good. There are other types of relief that you can seek where it's like possession, but it's like under 30 grams of marijuana or something like that, where it's a small crime and it can be waived. Daca, I wouldn't suggest it. DACA is very strict. I mean, you got to be like the model person to get DACA. So would I apply with drug paraphernalia? You're probably wasting your money. Let's see here. Is the merchandise available? We love the hat, gray logo. Thank you. Yes, merchandise is available. Right now, this COVID, and it's hard to get in contact with these people. For instance, if you see this is gold, this is yellow. This is my real logo. The hat person messed this up. I've contacted him many times to say, yo, it's gold. I need it to be yellow so it can flow. But because of COVID, he's dodging me. So, if you know a hat person, let me know because I need to get this matching. But, yeah, merchandise will be coming soon. Are they not allowed to legitimate? Okay, can I read? Oh, okay, I already went through that one. Drug paraphernalia. Henry E. Susie, thank you for writing this. Yes, please, from experience, no notary. This is somebody that's obviously went through it. So I'm not just speaking these words just to speak them or to gain your business. I don't care who you go to as a lawyer. As long as you feel comfortable. Look, anytime you hire somebody and you're giving them money, you need to make sure you feel 100% comfortable. Go with your gut. If the person is coming off wrong or they sound like a car salesman or something like that, run away, even if they're a lawyer. Go with your gut. You need to go with a lawyer that you feel comfortable telling your deepest secrets to. I mean, this person is your Superman when it comes, or Superwoman, when it comes to immigration. So you want to be able to rely on this person. And I tell all of my clients, when you enter in a relationship with me, it's like husband and wife, or like a marriage. You need to be able to communicate with me. If something's pissing you off or you haven't heard from me or whatever it is, reach out to me because I don't know what you're feeling. Immigration takes time. When you file something, it's a year before you hear back from them. So I'm thinking everything's good and you're pissed off about something and I don't know. So if you don't reach out to me, how am I supposed to know? You're going to blow up just like you would on your spouse. So don't bottle things up. The relationship is important, so I always go through that with my clients. Let me know if anything's ever bothering you because I will sit down and go over everything with you. We'll fix it, talk about it. That way you don't bottle it up and get annoyed because the time can really get to somebody's head. They feel like the attorney's not doing what they need to do when really it's the government that's patiently taking their time on the application. So no notaries. Go with somebody you feel is coherent, can help you, and really has your best interest, and go with your gut. DACA is taking new applications for Metalhead 2010. What if a DACA recipient marries a U.S. citizen? Already been through that. Thank you for all the information. No problem. That's what I'm here for. Can DACA work permit be jeopardized with unemployment due to this pandemic? Whether you work or not is up to you. Having the work permit is one thing. It's just kind of like a driver's license. If you want to drive, you can go drive, but you still have the driver's license. So unemployment, no. Unemployment is an earned benefit. Doesn't matter. Do you have to leave the states if you apply for a resident? You only have to leave the states if you want to apply for residency if you entered illegally and you accrued unlawful status. So if you've accrued between 6 months and a year unlawful status, then you have to leave and you can't come back for 3 years. If you've been here over a year unlawfully, you have to leave and you can't come back for 10 years. That's what the waiver / perdón is for, the 601A waiver. It waives that unlawful time, unlawful admission that you've been here, and allows you to go do your interview and come back really quick. Discretionary again. Drug, thank you a lot. Can to waiver card have? Let me see. Can be possible to wait for residency card here or have to go out? Well, you'll get your interview if you're doing it through the National Visa Center, the consulate. You'll get your interview date and you'll go to your home country for the interview. But like I said, the waiver will help you get back in if you entered illegally. Where's your office base? We're in LA, but we service the entire United States. So I have clients in Michigan, Pennsylvania, Florida, Texas, Utah, Colorado. I have clients everywhere. I fly up to San Francisco for core. I do everything. So thank God for FaceTime and face videos, emails, texts, all that stuff. It's very easy to help people in different states nowadays. I mean, back then, when there was no cell phones, I understand, go to your local lawyer. But I would rather pay somebody in Maine or in a different state, Florida. I don't care where they are, if I feel that my gut is telling them they're the right person for me. So I'd rather pay the right person than go to the wrong person locally. Thank you for your time. You're welcome. I appreciate you as well. Thank you for following me. Thank you, everyone, for watching this video and following me. I appreciate you as much as you guys appreciate the information. What is going to happen with DACA recipients that get 1 year? Okay, so I talked about that earlier. The 1 year permits will get extended to 2 year permits. How they'll do that is probably a letter in the mail or on their website or something like that. I don't think they're going to ask you for your permit back and send you a new one. It'll probably cost too much money, and plus the U.S. government is broke right now when it comes to USCIS. So that is it for this discussion. I appreciate everyone for tuning in. Please share this with as many people as possible. That way they get this information, they are informed, and we can help everyone that wants to apply for DACA get DACA. I mean, as it sits, there's over 300,000 potential applicants for DACA. So the more you send this out, the more people will know about it. And like I said, contact us, DM us, text me, email me, whatever you want to do, and I will do my best to respond to you and get back to you. So I appreciate everybody's time. Thank you, thank you, thank you.